Baby collapsed on her bed, burying her face in her pillow. She let out a muffled sob, the tears flowing freely now. Why do they have to be so mean? She whispered to herself, her voice filled with anguish. In a world where dreams soar as high as the heavens, meets Gabby, a resilient young girl whose dreams soared as high as the sky. Despite the challenges of sickle cell syndrome that weighed her down, yet her spirit never faltered, and her smile remained unwavering, illuminating a path of courage and unwavering optimism. One sunny morning, Gabby woke up with a big smile on her face. She loved the way the sun peeked through her window, making everything glow. Today is going to be an amazing day, she whispered to herself. Downstairs, Gabby's mom greeted her with a warm hug. Good morning, sweetie. Are you ready for another adventure? She asked with a twinkle in her eye. Gabby nodded eagerly. Yes, Mom. I can't wait to see what today brings. As Gabby walked to school, she hummed her favorite tune, her heart filled with excitement. But as she reached the school gate, she heard whispers and giggles behind her back. Look, it's Gabby, the sickle cell girl. Gabby's smile faded and her heart sank. She didn't like it when people made fun of her condition. But instead of feeling sad, Gabby took a deep breath and squared her shoulders. Ignoring the taunts, Gabby marched into the school with her head held high. She knew she was special, and nothing could change that. During recess, Gabby sat down on a bench, watching her classmates play games. She wanted to join them, but she knew she had to be careful because of her condition. Just then, a voice interrupted her thoughts. Hey, Gabby, do you want to play with us? Gabby looked up to see Sarah, one of her classmates, smiling at her. Really? Gabby asked, her eyes wide with surprise. Sarah nodded. Of course, we can play something fun that won't make you tired. Gabby's heart soared with happiness. She had never imagined that someone would want to play with her despite her condition. Thank you, Sarah. That would be amazing. For the rest of the recess period, Gabby played and laughed with Sarah and her friends. She felt like she was flying, her worries forgotten in the joy of the moment. As soon as the day came to an end, Gabby journeyed home, her heart lighter than ever. Today had been a special day, filled with laughter and friendship, and Gabby knew that as long as she had her dreams and the support of people who cared about her, she could conquer anything. Back home, Gabby hugged her mom tightly. Thank you for believing in me, Mom, she said, her eyes shining with gratitude. Her mom smiled back, her eyes shimmering with pride. You are welcome, sweetheart. You are stronger than you think, and I will always be here to cheer you on. With a contented sigh, Gabby climbed into bed, her heart full of hope and happiness. As she drifted off to sleep, she knew that tomorrow would bring even more adventures, and she couldn't wait to see what the future held. And so, wrapped in the warmth of her dreams, Gabby fell asleep, ready to face whatever challenges that may come her way with courage and determination. The next day, Gabby walked into school, feeling a knot forming in her stomach. She knew what awaited her: the taunts, the laughter, and the cruel words. As she stepped through the gate, she felt like she was entering a battlefield. "Hey, look! It's Gaby, the ugly duckling," sneered Timmy, one of the meanest bullies in the class. Gaby's heart sank as she heard the familiar jeers. She tried to ignore them, but each insult felt like a stab in her heart. "Why do you even bother coming to school, Gaby? You should just stay home and hide that ugly face of yours," laughed Anthony, another bully who never missed a chance to make Gaby's life miserable. Gaby felt her eyes welling up with tears, but she refused to let them see her cry. She clenched her fist, trying to block out the hurtful words. "Leave me alone," Gaby whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. But the bullies only laughed harder. They circled around her, their mocking laughter echoing in her ears. "You are so thin, Gaby. Are you sick or something?" taunted Timmy, his words like poison arrows. Gaby felt her cheeks burn with shame. She hated how they always picked on her appearance. "Just ignore them, Gaby," whispered her friend Sarah, trying to comfort her. But it was hard to ignore the relentless teasing. Gaby felt like she was suffocating under the weight of their words. "You are disgusting, Gaby. No wonder no one likes you," sneered Anthony, his voice dripping with malice. Gaby's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them back. She refused to let them see how much they hurt her. "Ignore them, Gaby. They are just jealous because you are smarter than them," Sarah said, trying to encourage her. But it was hard to feel smart when all she could hear were their cruel words echoing in her head. The bell rang, signaling the start of class. Gaby wiped away her tears and tried to compose herself. She couldn't let them see how much they had hurt her. As she sat through classes, Gaby felt like she was in a daze. She couldn't concentrate on the lesson. Her mind consumed with thoughts of the bullies and their hurtful words. "Are you okay, Gaby?" whispered Sarah, her voice filled with concern. Gaby forced a smile, nodding weakly, but inside, she felt like she was crumbling. After what felt like an eternity, the final bell rang, signaling the end of school. Gaby gathered her things and hurried out of the classroom, eager to escape the taunts and jeers. But as she walked home, Gaby couldn't shake the feeling of sadness that weighed heavily on her heart. She hated how the bullies made her feel small and insignificant. When she finally reached home, Gaby collapsed on her bed, burying her face in her pillow. She let out a muffled sob, the tears flowing freely now. "Why do they have to be so mean?" she whispered to herself, her voice filled with anguish. But deep down, Gaby knew the answer. The bullies were just unhappy with themselves, and they took out their anger on her. She couldn't change who they were, but she could change how she reacted to them. With a newfound determination, she wiped her tears and sat up straight. She wouldn't let the bullies break her spirit. She would rise above their cruelty and show them that she was stronger than they could ever imagine. And with that thought in mind, Gaby drifted off to sleep, ready to face whatever challenges tomorrow would bring. One evening, Gaby was very upset. She had tears rolling down her cheeks. She went to her parents and said, "Mom, Dad, why did you bring me into this world if you know I would be sad?" Her parents looked surprised and sad. "Gaby, what's wrong?" Her mom asked gently. "I'm always lonely at school. Why did you have me if I was going to be sad all the time?" Gaby asked, her voice shaking with emotion. Her parents exchanged a sad glance. "We wanted to have you because we love you," her mom explained softly. Her dad sighed deeply. "We never wanted you to be unhappy, sweetheart. We love you very much." "I'm hurting," Gaby cried, her voice breaking with pain. "I'm hurt so much. I don't understand why. It's not fair. I don't understand why I have to feel this way." Gaby cried out. "But it's not fair," Gaby insisted, her anger flaring up again. "I don't want to feel sad anymore. I don't want to be an object of ridicule to those bullies again. It's tiring, Dad," Gaby said, crying in a high tone of frustration. Her dad knelt beside her, wrapping his arms around her in a warm embrace. "We know, darling," he said softly. "Life can be tough sometimes, but we are here for you. We will always be here to help you through the hard times." Gaby buried her face in her father's chest, her tears soaking his shirt. "But it's not fair," she whispered, her voice muffled against him. "I feel so lonely, so different from everyone else. Will I ever be happy again? Will I ever be normal like my peers again? How much longer will I have to tolerate these bullies?" Gaby asked her dad. Her dad sat down and carried her on his lap. He said to her, "We will do everything we can to make you feel better, Gaby. And yes, you will be well again. And no one will ever have cause to bully you again. We promise." Her mom hugged her tightly. "We are sorry you feel this way, my darling," her mom said, wiping the tears coming down from Gaby's eyes. Gaby's mom stroked her hair gently, her touch like a comforting breeze. "You are not alone, sweetheart," she said, her voice filled with love. "We are here for you, and we always will be. And remember, it's okay to feel sad and angry sometimes. It's part of being human." Gaby sniffled, wiping her tears away with the back of her hand. "But what if I never feel better?" she asked, her voice small and uncertain. Her dad squeezed her hand reassuringly. "You will, darling," he said, his voice firm with conviction. "Things might seem tough now, but they will get better. And we will be right here by your side, every step of the way." Gaby nodded, feeling a bit hopeful within her. "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I love you both so much." "We love you too, sweetheart," her mom said, pressing a kiss on Gaby's forehead. "Always remember that." As Gaby snuggled into her parents' arms, she felt a warmth spread her heart, though the storm inside her had not passed. She knew that with her mom and dad beside her, as they promised, she could weather any storm that comes her way. Gaby hugged her parents tightly, feeling a little bit better, knowing they cared about her. But deep down, she still felt confused and hurt. As the days went by, Gaby's loneliness grew. Each time she went to school, she had to deal with bullies and then on the street as well. Her mates made fun of her, calling her all sorts of names. Gaby began to feel extremely sad and lonely. She couldn't handle being rejected and called all sorts of names anymore. So she decided to go to her grandparents' house to stay for a while. With a heavy heart, she packed her bags and was set to leave. Gabby's parents felt a deep ache in their hearts as Gabby was leaving. Tears welled up in their eyes, knowing that their only daughter had to leave because of the torment and torture she was going through from her peers. Gabby, wait, her mom called out, her voice trembling with emotion. Gabby turned around, her eyes red from crying. What is it, Mom? She asked, her voice filled with sadness and anger. Her dad stepped forward, his face filled with regret. We are so sorry, Gabby. We are sorry that you have to go through all this suffering because of our ignorance. A mistake made due to our carelessness and youthful exuberance. We didn't realize how much it was going to affect you. Our love for each other did not allow us to think right. Gabby's heart softened a little, but she still felt hot and angry. It's too late now, she muttered. I go outside to buy something on the street and I'm being mocked by my peers. I go to school and I'm being ridiculed. It's all sorrow and pain for me. I see myself surrounded with anguish, Dad. Mom, I will stay with my grandparents in the village for now. I believe I won't have to undergo the pains I'm facing here in the city, Gabby said, turning away. Her mom reached out to her, tears streaming down her cheeks. Please forgive us, Gabby. We never meant to cause you pain. But what if you have crisis in the village? How will you cope, my child? Gabby looked at her parents, seeing the sadness and guilt in their eyes. She sighed deeply, feeling a mix of emotions swelling inside her. I don't know if I can forgive you both for causing me this kind of pain, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Her dad knelt down in front of her, his eyes pleading. We'll do whatever it takes to make things right, Gabby. Please, give us a chance to prove it to you. Gabby hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. She still felt hot. Okay, she finally said, her voice wavering. I will forgive you both if you can come up fast with ways to make me feel better, she said. Till then, I'll be at my grandparents' place. I'm certain there will be so much peace there than there is here. Her parents nodded solemnly, their hearts heavy with remorse. We promise, Gabby, we'll do whatever it takes to make things right, her mom said, her voice filled with sincerity. Gabby hugged her parents tightly, feeling a glimmer of hope flicker inside them. Maybe, just maybe, they could find a way to heal the wounds that had torn her apart. Take good care of yourself, Dad and Mom, Gabby said as she entered the vehicle that took her to the village where her grandparents were. As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, watching the vehicle Gabby entered zoomed off, Gabby's parents vowed to do everything in their power to make sure they restored their daughter's self-esteem back again, and so together, they joined hands to look for a solution to fight the sickle cell their daughter has been battling with. As she arrived at her grandparents' house, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. Her grandparents greeted her with warm hugs and smiles. Oh, Gabby, it's so good to see you again, her grandmother said, pulling her into a tight embrace. Gabby hugged her back tightly, feeling the love and comfort she had been longing for. I missed you, Grandma, she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Her grandpa patted her shoulder gently. We missed you too, sweetheart. You are always welcome here. Gabby smiled weakly, grateful for their love and support. Thank you, Grandpa. As her grandma was about to show her inside her room, She noticed that tears were rolling down Gabby's eyes. "Oh, Gabby, what's wrong there?" her grandma asked, seeing the sadness in Gabby's eyes. "I just couldn't stay there anymore. It hurt too much," Gabby replied, her voice quivering. Her grandpa put a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You are always welcome here, Gabby. We love having you around." Gabby sniffled and hugged them tightly. "Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandpa. I feel better already." Her grandmother wiped away Gabby's tears. "You can stay with us for as long as you need, sweetheart. We are here to help you feel better." Gabby smiled weakly. "I know, Grandma. I'm just tired of feeling sad and being called names all the time." Her grandpa nodded understandably. Sometimes, a change of scenery can do wonders for the heart. Gabby felt a little better, knowing she was surrounded by love and understanding. She spent the evening chatting with her grandparents, feeling lighter than she had in a long time. She was glad to be away from the judgmental eyes of her peers and surrounded by the love of her grandparents. "I'm so glad I came here," Gabby said, cuddling up to her grandma on the couch. "We are glad you are here too, Gabby," her grandma replied, giving her a gentle squeeze. As Gabby drifted off to sleep that night, she felt grateful for her grandparents' comforting presence. Even though she still felt sad, she knew she was in a safe place where she was loved unconditionally. "Good night, Grandma. Good night, Grandpa," she whispered, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. Gabby's parents were filled with a new sense of determination. They wanted to help their daughter no matter what it took. So they started researching and talking to doctors to find a way to make her feel better. "We will do whatever it takes to help Gabby," her dad said, his voice filled with determination. Her mom nodded, her eyes shining with hope. "We won't give up until we find a solution." They spent countless hours researching online and talking to doctors. They wanted to find the best treatment for Gabby's sickness. "Just when we thought we had no hope, we found something," her mom said one day, excitement in her voice. Her dad looked up from his computer, his eyes wide with curiosity. "What is it?" Her mom smiled. "It's a treatment called a bone marrow transplant. It's done abroad, and it could cure Gabby's sickness once and for all." Gabby's dad felt a surge of hope. "That sounds amazing. Let's find out more about it." They called the hospital where the surgery was done and talked to the doctors there. They asked lots of questions and learned everything they could about the procedure. "It's not an easy surgery, but it could give Gabby a chance at a better life," her mom explained, her voice filled with emotion. Gabby's dad nodded, his heart filled with gratitude. "We'll do whatever it takes to make this happen." They called Gabby on the phone, telling her to come back, that they had seen a cure. They explained how important it was for her to come back as soon as she could. "Oh, really? Finally. Okay, Dad. First thing tomorrow morning, I will leave the village to come back home," she said excitedly. Gabby replied her dad and hung up the phone. She went to her grandparents that evening to tell them about the call she had gotten from her dad. "Grandma, I'll be leaving first thing tomorrow morning." Her grandma looked confused, asked, "Did anything happen? Did anyone offend you again? Why the sudden change of mind, my dear?" "No, Grandma, no one offended me. As a matter of fact, my dad called me earlier today, saying they had found cure for my sickness." Both grandparents were excited on hearing the news. "Oh well, thank God," for finally hearing her prayers. Her grandpa added, "How I wish you didn't have to go so suddenly. But then, your health comes first. We definitely miss you, my child." Her grandma said, "May the good Lord cause everything to go well." Gaby responded, feeling emotional, "Amen. I will miss you both more, Grandma. Don't forget to come here any day, anytime. This house is yours as well." Her grandpa told her. She stood up and gave them both a warm hug. "I love you both so much. May God preserve you two in good health." They both responded, "Amen." The following day arrived. They prepared cookies for Kaby to eat while in the bus so she doesn't get hungry. They gave her lots of goodies. When it was finally time to bid farewell, she hugged them and said, "I'll be back again very soon." She entered the vehicle and bid them goodbye. On getting to the city, her parents were so excited to see her again after a long time. They hugged her and gave her welcome back kisses. "It's good to have you home," her dad said. Her mom even prepared her favorite meal. "Welcome back once again, my darling child." Her dad said, "It feels good to have you here with us again." The mom set the table, and after Gaby freshened up, she came down and her mom dished and served the food. Indeed, it was more like a family reunion as the atmosphere was joyous, filled with lots of smiles and happiness. Gaby wished that she would remain this happy and not be filled with sorrow. She hoped for more happy days ahead of her. And so, after eating and gisting, they said their prayers and bid each other good night. The next day, Gaby's parents sat down with her doctor to discuss the treatment options available. After much consideration, they made the difficult decision to pursue a special transplant surgery that was only available overseas. The doctor explained how the surgery worked and what they needed to do to prepare for it. "It's a big decision," the doctor said, "but it could change Gaby's life for the better." Gaby's parents looked at each other, their hearts full of hope and fear. They knew the surgery would be risky, but they were willing to do anything to make their daughter feel better. "We will do whatever it takes to give our daughter a chance at a better life," her mother said firmly, her eyes shining with determination. Gaby's father nodded, his jaws set with determination. "We will go to the end of the earth for her," he declared. Gaby's mom hugged him tightly, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered, "for never giving up on her." Gaby smiled weakly, feeling hopeful for the first time in a long time. "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. Maybe, just maybe, this surgery could make me feel better and help me live a normal life." As they all left the room, Gaby's parents reassured her that everything will be okay soon. "Now, you can go and continue with your chores while we figure out what to do next," her mom said. With their minds made up, Gaby's parents began making the necessary arrangements for their journey. They sold their car and borrowed money from friends and family to cover the cost of the surgery and travel expenses. With renewed hope, Gaby went about her day, grateful for the love and support of her family as they began making plans to go abroad for the surgery. As the day of the surgery got closer, Gaby's parents got everything ready. They packed their bags and made sure Gaby would be taken care of while they were away. Finally, the day came for them to leave. Gaby's parents gathered their courage as they got ready for the big journey. On the way to the airport, Gaby held her mom's hand tight, feeling scared and hopeful at the same time. "What if it doesn't work, Mom?" she asked, her voice shaking with worry. "We are going to make it through this, Gaby," her mom said, sounding sure. Her mom gave her hand a squeeze, We are going to do everything we can to make sure it does, sweetheart. We just have to have faith, she said, her voice strong and sure. Gaby nodded, taking a deep breath to calm down. Okay, Mom, I trust you, she said, determined. At the airport, Gaby's parents checked in for their flight and got on the plane, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Sitting down, Gaby's dad reached her hand, giving it a comforting squeeze. We are going to get through this together, princess, he said, full of love and determination. Gaby nodded, feeling thankful for her parents' love and support. Looking up to her dad, Gaby smiled, feeling hopeful once more. I know, Dad. I believe in us, she said, sure of herself. And with those words, Gaby's parents set off on a journey to save their daughter's life. It was a journey full of hope, bravery, and never giving up. Fueled by love and hope, they were off to find a miracle. But most importantly, it was a journey that would bring them closer together as a family than ever before. And with that, their journey began. Excitement and nervousness buzzed around Gaby as she stepped into the hospital on the day of her bone marrow transplant. Quickly changing into her hospital gown, she felt a lump in her throat as they wheeled her towards the theater. Mom, Dad, I'm scared, Gaby confessed, her voice trembling. Her father's strong hand squeezed hers gently. Don't worry, sweetheart. We are here for you. God will see you through this. Tears welled up in her mother's eyes. Oh Lord, please, protect our precious girl, she prayed silently. As the nurses prepared Gaby for the operation, her parents stayed close, offering words of comfort and prayers. Finally, Gaby was placed on a stretcher, ready to be taken into the operation theater. Her mother couldn't hold back her tears. Please, God, keep our Gaby safe, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. We have to stay strong there. God is watching over her. Her husband reassured, his own eyes glistening with unshed tears. Together, they prayed fervently as they waited for news, their hearts heavy with anticipation. Time seemed to stand still as Gaby's fate hung in the balance. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the doors of the theater opened, revealing the doctor. Doctor, how is our daughter? Gaby's father asked anxiously, his voice trembling with emotion. With a warm smile, the doctor delivered the long-awaited news. Congratulations, the surgery was a success. Relief flooded Gaby's parents as tears of joy streamed down their faces. Thank you, Lord, they whispered, overcome with gratitude. Can we see her now, doctor? Gaby's mother asked eagerly, her eyes shining with hope. Of course, follow me, the doctor replied, leading them to Gaby's ward. Entering the room, they found Gaby lying peacefully, her eyes closed. Tears of happiness filled her parents' eyes as they rushed to her side. We did it, Gaby. God answered our prayers, her father exclaimed, his voice trembling with emotion. Weak but smiling, Gaby opened her eyes at the sound of her parents' voices. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. Tears of joy streamed down her cheeks as her parents enveloped her in a warm embrace. They knew they had overcome this hurdle, united in love and faith. We are here for you, Gaby, always, her father said, his voice filled with love and reassurance. Feeling the warmth of her parents' embrace, Gaby closed her eyes, knowing that she was safe and loved. In that moment, surrounded by her family, she felt a sense of peace and gratitude wash over her. As they held each other close, Gaby knew that she had won the battle against her illness and against the bullies who had tormented her for so long. With her family by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The next morning, the doctor requested to see Gabby's parents. Knock knock, they said as they approached the doctor's office. Yes, come in, the doctor said. I called you here to tell you, after our observations, you can now take your daughter home with you. She's perfectly okay now. But please, let her not undergo any form of stress or emotional breakdown, the doctor said. He equally gave them medications she should be taking to help her health completely. Thank you so much, doctor, Gabby's dad said. We have heard what you said. We are grateful to God for using you. God bless you, Gabby's mom added. And so they left his office, headed straight to Gabby's ward to go and give her the good news. We'll be leaving soon, Gabby. The doctor said you are okay now. Gabby, filled with joy on hearing the news, she could not wait to go back, this time healthy and not looking sickly all the time. She could not wait to see her grandparents and equally her friend Sarah, who stood and supported her back then in school. Indeed, it was that moment she was waiting for. Dad, when are we going back? She asked. Next week. Gabby's dad smiled. So they began to prepare for their return from abroad to Nigeria. Days later, Gabby returned home. Her body still frail but her spirit renewed. The transplant had been a success, offering her a second chance at life. With each step she took, she embraced the world with newfound gratitude and resilience. Upon returning home, Gabby was met with open arms by her grandparents, who had never stopped loving her. Grandma, Grandpa, she was so shocked and excited to see them. Gabby, we thank God for your life. Now go and do exploits as you have always wanted. No one can dim your shine anymore, her grandpa told her. Thank you, Grandpa, Gabby said. They stretched out their hands and they both gave Gabby a warm hug. Indeed, everything was to ally again. It was such a memorable day for their family. Their friends and well-wishers were not left out as they all came to see Gabby. Everyone was excited that she had finally gotten rid of this sickness. Gabby's dad got drinks and popped a wine. He raised a toast and said, "To my beloved daughter." They all said cheers. Indeed, the universe had smiled on them again. It was a jolly celebration. Everyone drank until they were full. Till night came, each person going back to their house. Miraculously, Gabby's health began to improve with each passing day. As she regained her strength, she felt a newfound sense of gratitude for the second chance at life that had been bestowed upon her. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Gabby resumed school again. Her friend Sarah saw her and ran towards her to give her a big hug and said, "Oh, Gabby, what happened? Where have you been all this while? I have missed you so much. You just disappeared on me," Sarah said, as tears rolled down her eyes. "No, my dearest friend," Gabby replied. "A lot has been going on." She took Sarah to one corner as she narrated how her life was and what transpired in the months she wasn't in school. "Oh, my poor girl," Sarah said with emotions. "I can't believe you went through all this." She stretched her hand and gave Sarah a warm hug again. "But the greatest news now is that you are okay, and I'm so excited to hear that," Sarah added. "Thank you, Sarah, for everything, most especially for being a good friend in the most difficult moment. Even when no one wanted to talk to me, you didn't push me away. From the depth of my heart, thank you," Gabby said, feeling emotional. The two girls began to cry again. "Oh, thank God for everything, Gabby. I'm so excited that you are okay now. At least, These bullies won't have to channel their hate and hurtful speeches at you again. I'm glad too, Gaby said. They held hands as they both walked into the classroom. When Timmy and Anthony saw her, they were surprised because she wasn't looking sick like before. This time, Gaby was looking healthy, added weight, and was glowing. Is this not that ugly girl that was always sick? Timmy asked. What happened to her? She looks beautiful now, Anthony said, looking astonished as he stared at Gaby. Gaby shared her story and started raising awareness about the importance of parents being compatible before bringing children into the world. Wow, we are sorry for everything we caused you, Gaby. We didn't know what you were going through. Please forgive us, Timmy and Anthony said as they knelt down asking for her forgiveness. To err is human, and to forgive is divine. It's okay, please stand up. I forgive you both. Timmy and Anthony stood up and said, Thank you, Gaby. We promise not to bully you or any other student in this school again, they added. Gaby smiled and said, That will be good for you both. The boys as well smiled. Everyone in the classroom was happy once again. The school dismissed, each student going to their various houses. Gaby got home all excited, narrating how her first time in school was. Oh, my darling daughter, I'm happy you are happy again, her mom said. Always be happy, my child. Thank you, Mom, Gaby said. As she was about to enter her room, her dad called her back. Gaby, my princess, I'm sorry for all the pains we caused you. You had to go through hell because of us. Please, find a place in your heart to forgive us, my daughter. Oh no, Dad. I hold nothing against you and Mom. Please stop apologizing. As a matter of fact, it's because of you and Mom that I'm healthier today. Thank you so much for saving my life and being a source of hope to me, Dad. I love you both so much, she said. The atmosphere was filled with emotions. We love you too, our princess. Gaby's parents chorused. Gaby stretched her hands and gave her parents a big hug. Inspired by her own journey, Gaby became a voice for change and an advocate for children born with genetic diseases, advocating for greater awareness of sickle cell syndrome. She urged others to consider the consequences of bringing children into the world without considering the potential impact of genetic disorders. Through her advocacy, she hoped to spare future generations from needless sufferings and heartache. She traveled to different countries, empowering and teaching the importance of parental compatibility. Thank you for watching this amazing story about Gaby on African Stories. If you liked it and felt inspired with her journey, please show your support by clicking the like button, sharing with your friends, and leaving a comment below. To see more interesting stories and learn about different cultures, subscribe to African Stories and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Your support means a lot and helps us bring more stories to you. Until we meet again, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep smiling.